It'll take a few seconds at least. And then after a while, we'll be online, and I'm going to assume it's now. So, today, welcome to the stream, everyone. Today, I'm here with my faithful companion and minion, Per Olson. Say hi, Per.
Hello.
Say it again with a baby voice.
No, I don't. I'm not as good on voices as you are.
Okay. And with us today, we have Tomi Koski, aka TK0 or TKO, which I
That's
think
right.
it means 0 technical knockouts in boxing.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. And so Tomi Koski, he's a senior security specialist at Nixu and also a bug bounty hunter and a jack of all trades. Master of none, certainly better than a master of one. Is that correct?
Yes, that is correct.
I think
And
I
of
was.
course
Sorry,
yeah,
I think I was stalking you on LinkedIn or something like that, where I found this nice
Well,
thing.
I have to say that news flash, I noticed.
And of course, it's good to have a real Finn here because I've doubted that Joachim is real Finn because he doesn't listen to metal. And it's
Well,
kind of like a Finn who doesn't have a sauna. So I have to ask Joachim, do you even have a sauna? Are
yes.
you Finnish, Joachim?
No,
I knew
Finnish.
that.
I'm Finnish Swedish, and you really shouldn't pick on minorities.
No, but it's good to have you here, Tommy.
Okay.
Yeah, welcome to the
Thanks.
stream.
Thank you for inviting me.
Is there anything that I forgot to mention in the introduction? Is there something that we didn't know about you? Maybe you're a general of the White Army or something? I don't know.
Well, I usually phrase myself as Finnish army knife. I'm a bit blunt, but I get the stuff done. So that's what I call myself, but that's about it.
So you're not a Swiss Army knife then?
No, Finnish army knife.
One. Yeah.
Only one big blunt blade, and that's your thing.
One big blunt blade.
Yes.
Is it strategically located in the middle of your torso or? Okay. Anyway, I think we got a bit sidetracked, but that's okay, I guess.
Yes.
So, in addition to being a Finnish army knife, is there anything else we missed in your introduction?
Yeah, well, I work at. You probably said where I work at. I can't remember, but
yeah, you work at Nixu.
That was.
In case you had forgotten, you work at Nixu, but is there something else we forgot?
No, that was about it.
And at Nixu, what are you doing? Are you doing like pen test or what are you doing?
Yeah, well, basically I do several stuff over there, but basically web auditing, pen tests, and stuff like that. So physical security and bunch of other stuff.
Mm-hmm. Is it mostly web, or do you also have like hardware hacking and things like that, reverse engineering?
Yeah, we have that too, and I do that too, to my limits.
Good.
And in addition to that, you're also a bug bounty hunter. So you're for example, you're bug hunting on our platform.
Yes.
And so apparently, bug bounty is a side hustle for you, I guess.
Yes, it is, and I have to be honest that I couldn't handle the full-time bug bounty hunting as a process. So I think that partly our side hustling is just about right in my case. So
Why did you start with bug bounty? We had some guests before, and they said that if you do it and only for the money, you will kind of fail. Do you agree with that, or what was your reason for starting with bug bounties? And have this why changed over time? Is it still the same reason you are continuing to do bug bounty as when you started?
Well, yes, I actually it's a let's say long story short. So there was a time when I didn't know about these platforms at all, and I was doing some random poking around the web, finding XSSs and whatever, and then I reported them to the whoever owned the site. So I was doing it for fun because it was just fun for me. And then someone told me that you can actually get some money out of this, and then I was like, okay, I'll try it. But then again, related to the hacker one, for example, the signaling, which used to be there, so I had to do a lot of these kudos programs that you just gain reputation, you don't get any money, and I even did that quite long. And it I have to say it's not about the money because I'm not a millionaire. So
Yeah, and I remember seeing you got like bounties of $1 because you shared them with your bro.
yes, I
What's up
share
with
that
that?
with my bro always. Yeah,
What's up with that?
it was actually related to the fact that the hacker one doesn't disclose all the reports, so we kind of figured out that doing the bare minimum and just like putting 1%, or is it like 1.1%, but whatever, to other guy, you are able to disclose the report when the collaborator joins to the report. So it was kind of neat thing, and it was a joke between us because you have to have some coffee money or beer money. So there's $2 for you, or $3, or $1.
And your bro is actually here in the chat. Put
Is
this in
he?
the chat, yes.
Hey.
That's one of your
So,
bros, but the other one is Juho Müllers, which I think
mhm.
you were doing it more with, right?
Yeah, I don't see who is in the chat, but
Putsi
that's
is in the chat.
okay.
So
Hi, Putsi. Nice to see you, even though I don't see you. But yeah, Myllys, Muona is the guy who I'm working with quite a lot, and of course with Putsi.
Do you
I
like always collaborate, and are you part of like some team, like hacker team?
Well, it's more or less a meta team, I would say, because there are a bunch of us Finns which do this side hustle, or actually at least one does it for full time, I suppose. So I when I have a tight spot or I need some help, we usually collaborate on the background, and then if someone has like a major, like how do you say it, a major lift over for your kind of bug, then of course that guy should receive some fame, aka money, for it. So that's at least what we've been doing. So we collaborate in a hacker one way.
And as you mentioned before, the reason is that basically for the others to also see the reports. So it's more or less like sharing knowledge and sharing reports, right?
Yes, because I actually personally I learn a lot about the disclosed reports, and then of course when we have some basically some trick, or someone knows a neat trick for a certain browser or something like that, it's always nice to see other person's reports and learn from that. So basically it's for learning, and it's not about the $1.
Yeah. I also do the same, but of course you're limited to the public reports. This way is the way of circumventing that for the private
Yes.
ones.
Yeah, and it's still like a you probably seen us with one guy. We are doing this kind of emoji, these fist emojis and stuff like that. So it's kind of a like that's a high five in a virtual world kind of thing too. So that's nice.
Yeah, but from my perspective, for you at least, $1 is always $1, right?
Yeah. Yes.
I'm referring to some type of squatting.
Squatting?
Not typo squatting, but Eastern European squatting.
Mm. Sorry, I don't follow you, but
Yeah,
let's
it's
move
okay.
on.
It's an inside joke.
Me neither, so you're not alone.
Right.
But let's talk some more about bug bounties. So before the stream, you mentioned that you have been doing this for quite some time. So how long
Yes.
have you been doing, if you recall?
Yeah, so like I said, I was doing random poking around in around net web, and when I heard about these platforms, then I actually started to target certain platforms and programs. So I had to actually look, and it seems that I have started like actively on January 2017. So
Yeah, I found when I did some research on you that you first signed up for Bugcrowd, reported some bugs, and then left the platform to almost exclusively be on HackerOne. Was there like any particular reason why you left Bugcrowd, or do you only wanted to focus on one platform?
well, it was mainly because back in the day, the HackerOne had this well, two things, but two reasons. But first reason was that the HackerOne had, in my opinion, the better hacktivity kind of thing, which Bugcrowd has nowadays too. And the second reason was that I did some really, really lame rookie mistakes in the beginning with the reports, and I still cry when I read my first reports to the platforms. Well, not really, but those were the days.
Sometimes
Do you plan on? Sorry.
Yeah, so I
sometimes
kind of.
sorry.
No, please go on.
Sometimes I feel like you're crying even to this day. Like when you send in
Yes.
some report, then you like send me a message and you're like, oh, like fuck, this was
Yeah.
a crap report, but here you go. And I'm like, but this is fine, I don't know what the problem is. So sometimes I feel like you guys are really hard on yourselves for like, oh, I have to have a RCE or something. But I think the lower tier vulnerabilities are good too.
Yeah, and actually, it's actually, even though if you score like, let's say that $1, well, that's a bad example, but let's say $100, for example, you still get points, and the points are the thing in HackerOne. So
Yeah, and you're in top 100 now, right?
well, I used to be in the top 100 during the 90 days period, but
Yeah.
I've been keeping some, let's say, a bit of break here during the summer, because it's it's one of my kind of hints that if you feel like it, just take a break, because otherwise you start to melt from the inside when you just try to find something, and it becomes obsession, and then you better like, let's take a break. So I do that at least.
So what you're saying is that you're human and you needed to have a holiday, a summer holiday.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Because I thought you were all bots. So it's really nice seeing like a person behind the Elias, and it's actually like a human being with feelings and emotions and stuff like that. So that's cool.
Yeah, and actually, when you do this, basically pretty much same stuff at the office during the day, and then you come home and you do the stuff, and during the evening, around this time, I usually start to hunt something if I do. So then, if you feel like it, well, I don't have like any interest to this today, so better skip it.
So that's actually a good question I have about that, because you do this for a day job and then you come home, you maybe eat a little bit, you play with your kids or whatever, and then you start hacking again, basically doing your day job in a different scenario. Like, do you do it? Why do you do it? Do you do it because you want to learn more for your day job, or do you just want to develop yourself as a person or professionally, or what's the deal?
It's well, actually, I think it's related to my like official professional career. This bug bountying really helps me to help my customers at the office in a better way. And then again, from the customer cases which I do at the office, I gain a lot of knowledge from there, and then I can use that knowledge to some bug bounty platform. When I see something, I remember, hey, this was something which I did long ago, and then I start to remembering stuff. And I think it's like win-win for the both parties.
How do you handle like your mental health and not getting burned out?
Well, I do a lot of other stuff than this bug bountying. So I I do weird stuff, like I pick locks. I like to pick locks, my
I
own
mean, I do
locks.
it too.
Then I try to do this wireless stuff, whatever, and I like to read chips. I mean, like take a chip out of something and read the stuff in the chip, and
Yeah,
weird
like
stuff.
dumping the memory, right?
Yes,
Yep,
yes.
yep.
And I also started to skateboard after 20 plus years during this summer, and that's pretty awesome too. I like it a lot.
Nice. Very cool. Have you been snowboarding as well?
No, I don't do that, because when I was a kid, my father told me that it's either ice hockey or snowboarding, and I chose ice hockey. So
All right. So,
So,
now that we know kind of what you do currently, let's go back a bit. Let's go back to the little guy when you were a kid. Do you have any memories related to hacking, or some characteristics in yourself that you noticed? Or maybe if you look back, you noticed that, okay, I used to like tear shit apart and break shit, or stuff like that.
yeah, well, actually, it's um, I started remembering this stuff uh, before this interview or this thing, and I actually remembered some weird memory from my childhood, which was a mind blown moment for me. Me and my friend, we both had these computers, these um, what is it, C60 Commodore 64s, and
Yeah.
I had a game, and he took my game in a cassette. He took it home, loaded to the his Commodore, and he gave the cassette back to me and said, "You can have this. I can play the game now." And I was like, "What?" Then I started to realize that this stuff actually goes into the memory, and then we started to do other weird stuff with the computers. So
Like what?
basic, and stuff like that. Code, well, not code, but we tried.
go to line.
Yes, stuff like that.
Did you make any games or anything like that? What kind of stuff did you create?
Well, it was mainly drawing some. I remember drawing some stars to screen and stuff like that. I can't even remember how we did that, but it was fun, and we had this paper and pencils where you actually coded your program before you wrote it in the computer, which was weird. You don't do that nowadays ever, I think. So I'm old. And
And
actually, one more memory related to that time when I got my first PC. The first thing what I did, I assembled it and then I disassembled it. And my mother came to my room and started to shout at me, "Why did you break it? It was so expensive." Then I said I wanted to know what's inside. So
Yeah.
that stuff.
Were you able to put it back together?
Yes, it was actually IBM PS1, so it was like a puzzle. It was really easy to like put back together. So
Mhm.
And how did your mom feel about that when you finally got it back together again?
I don't know. Bad, I think.
Wasn't she happy that you were able to put it back together?
Well, actually, I remember that she demanded me to show that it actually works, and it
Yeah.
did.
All right.
And it, yes.
Yes. So was there, like, now we talk about how you were as a kid, and what is your background? Like, what study did you do? Did you like always study IT, or did you have like some completely different things? Like maybe you were a chef before, or or something like that. Please let us know more.
Well, I have to say that um, I'm heavy believer of studying, but back in the day, I wasn't that interested in studying, which I still a bit regret. But I have only studied at a lower degree in the, what is it, vocabulary school, I think it's called. It was called back in the day, so it's ammattikoulu in Finnish. And I was learning computers over there, and I've been always doing stuff related to the computers, so it was pretty easy to choose between the school that they said that you can assemble, disassemble computers for during the school day. I said I go there, and then, well,
The rest is history.
yeah, it's like said, I'm true believer of studying, but still I haven't studied that much. But I'm basically, if if one can say, self-learned. So probably
Yeah.
that's
You're
most of.
you're kind of studying now, even still to this day, learning by yourself and learning via others in the community and so forth. But what I'm really interested in, I think a lot of us are kind of rebels when we are in our teens.
Mhm.
So, did you do any pranks or any weird stuff when you were a teenager with the computers in the school or something like that?
Uh, I think time has passed so much, so I can probably share some minor things. So yes, we did stuff, and we were kind of I don't know. I got at now this starts to be weird, but I got interested in computer viruses at some point, but I didn't spread my own, sort of speaking. But well, some pranks to the bulletin board systems we did, but that's about it. So
Yeah.
nothing major.
So,
And
did you study like viruses, malware when you were in your teens?
uh, well, basically, I just kind of I was interested in the uh, idea that you can actually do a program which can do stuff, which will do stuff, which will do stuff. So that was kind of weird for me. And then I read some stories about the virus writers, and I started to think, can I actually write my own? But I tried, but I didn't like release anything. So it
I
was
can't
more.
Yeah, sorry.
Yes, please.
Yes, I can't remember the name of the website, but there was a website that basically had a RDP connection or a screenshot of a RDP connection, and it took a new screenshot like every 5 minutes. And this virtual machine was basically hundreds of viruses that had like an endless fight. So they like kept installing every single virus they could find, and then they print screened every 5 minutes. And if the computer crashed, they just fired up a new virtual machine and kept on doing that. Unfortunately, I don't remember the webpage name, but it was pretty cool.
Yeah, and it's actually, I still think that those, even though the programs are malicious and usually written by criminals, but still, if you just think the intelligence in these programs, these are more or less quite sophisticated ones. So it's just sort of science, even though it's criminal. But I don't know, it's somehow interesting.
Yeah.
And of course, I'm one of the good guys, so my job is to like make those guys stop spreading that stuff. So
Yeah. So when did you realize after that, after school and all that, when did you realize you wanted to work in security? Or did you go straight into working
all the way,
in
always.
security?
well, it how do I say it? I was actually at some point I was driving a truck in a warehouse. That was my job, and I didn't really like it, but you had to do something. And then one of my friends told me that, would you like to come to this American company which builds network elements, and you can do a lot of stuff there. So I actually went there and worked there over 10 years. So it was Tel Labs, which is now gone from Finland at least. So during those days, I actually started to meet a lot of information security related stuff, which was a major driver for me.
Cool. Pat?
No, I don't really have any question in my mind, so please go ahead, Joachim, and I'll see if I can figure something out.
So after Tell Labs, what happened next in the Tommy story?
Well, I was doing the same stuff over there, which I had been doing for several years, and it was basically during the times when the network elements started to change and shift to these embedded Linux things. And then I was eager to get my hands on those, but I couldn't because I had to support the legacy stuff because I knew it too well. So then I decided that I will do something else. And then I joined this small company which was doing identity access management stuff, which of course took me to the rabbit hole even deeper and deeper.
Have you managed to get out of the rabbit hole yet?
No, I like it here.
It's a comfortable rabbit hole.
Yes, lots of carrots.
Yeah, but
So,
maybe you've been into other rabbit holes during like CTFs and stuff like that as well.
Yeah, CTFs are like, oh man, they are like literally killing me at some point.
Is it a drug?
CTF.
Yeah.
Well, you could say that. So if someone doesn't know, he's talking about the capture the flag competitions. So you have a puzzle which you need to solve, and that's about it. I'm totally sucked in immediately.
So actually, I think we can disclose it now since we don't have that many viewers, probably. So we will have actually Visma will have a CTF coming up in October, which will be public for everyone.
Okay.
So looking forward to seeing you on the leaderboard of that CTF.
Yep, so it will be part of, I'm not sure if you are familiar with the International Cybersecurity Month. but it's kind of going to be a part of that. So we're gonna do quite a lot of things related to security that month.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
What was my next question again? Fuck, I don't know. Where am I? Why did I scroll?
Who are these people?
No, but we don't need to have any scripts. So let's get back to maybe your bug bounty career.
Yes.
And what you have actually found in our program. So I think you're actually one of the one that had the highest bounty received for $3,000 for
but
a request. Yeah.
before we go to that bug, let's just go back to the $1 bug. What was that bug? What bug do you need to get $1, man? I really want to know.
It's actually related to the collaboration. So if someone scores 100 and he or she shares like 1% from that, so you gain $1 as a collaborator from that. So basically it's like that.
I heard that you and Juho Myllys do a lot of collaboration, and apparently you more or less share everything. Is that correct?
Well, at least we share a lot because he's been teaching me stuff, and hopefully he has learned something from me. So
you're like a mentors to each other.
Well, yes.
By mentors.
We drink beer online and chat in Slack and hunt bugs during some nights. But yeah.
Do you share other stuff besides bugs?
No.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Let's talk about the bug you found.
Yes. So I mentioned the request smuggling attack, also known as HTTP desync attack, and we already talked about that. You found it together with some other researchers. But was it any particular reason why you decided to look for this particular type of vulnerability? Because it is not as famous as many other attacks. Was it also part of the port trigger write-up?
Yeah, well, actually, the story is I have to tell you a story which is not that interesting. So basically, what happened? It was during the Corona days. Well, when we were working remotely, everybody was working remotely. So I had this idea because I'm working remotely during the mornings. I put my personal computer doing some crawling and scanning and whatever. And then I put that on the side table and started to do my real work. And at some point, I just looked at the computer and I saw that there was something red. Then I immediately noticed that there's a request smuggling. And of course, I took a coffee break from my office work. Then I started to fiddle around with it. And then I reported it, and it wasn't nothing fancy. It was basically the bug was a bit, how do you say, a bit dud at that point. So it didn't have that much impact. And then I just started to ask around the Slack from people that do they know anything like juicy POCs, proof of concepts for these request smuggling things, what I could do. And then this one guy, I won't mention his name, well, it's Putsi. He actually told me that, do you still have that? And then I was like, yes, I have it. And he actually started to grind on the target quite a lot. And he came up with the superb idea, and he actually executed all the way through. So basically, I was basically the guy who found the bug, gave some support, but Putsi was basically leading us to the critical impact, which then was the one of the highest bounties from your program.
And what was that? Like, what was the end result of the actual bug? You can say
Well,
it. It's fine.
the end result was it has been actually disclosed in the hacker one, but the end result was that we were able to see the traffic which all the other individuals were sending to the service side. So basically, we could see and store the traffic which was sent to the server. So it was pretty much game over at that point. So
Like a man in the middle attack.
yeah, basically. It
Yeah.
was just a bit amplified man in the middle attack, but yes, basically.
So you had basically full visuals into every single connection to the server, and you could just see all the stuff that people
Yeah.
are doing.
Yeah, session cookies and requests and user agents, and there was even one iPhone user at the time, and that was kind of when we saw the user agent iPhone, we noticed that okay, this is pretty bad. So because of course you could understand that someone is actually using with the phone the site. So
Yeah,
that was pretty cool.
it was really cool in my
Yeah.
mind. So that's one of the coolest bugs that you've submitted to us. But what's your coolest bug that you've ever submitted, in your own opinion?
And keep in mind, coolest that don't have to mean the highest bounty.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, well, I have to say that in my opinion, I still it's pretty fresh thing, but it's still on the top of my head that I found this one service which was using this Oracle Cloud, and they were actually using this really old WebLogic server over there. And then I started to look into that, and it was kind of an that I knew that there's something, but I didn't actually know anything what to do. But then I found a Chinese blog, and it was written in Chinese, and the guy has actually pawned and owned the whole server, exactly the same version as I had. Then I started to read the stuff, and it was like super weird. The guy was doing his own Java deserialization attacks and really weird stuff. So I started to read that, learn that, and then I wrote my own Java program, which in the end led to the full compromise of the server. So I really like that, and why I like it the most is that kind of at the starting point I only had a Chinese blog, and I'm not able to read Chinese, so it was kind of interesting to basically to transform that into a working proof of concept. So I like that a lot, at least.
So did you Google Translate that blog, I guess?
Well, I had to parts of it, but still, it was written from engineer to engineer. So it wasn't like, in my opinion, it wasn't really saying that you just run this script, then you will have everything from the server. So you really had to digest the stuff and understand what's going on, and then yeah.
I
But
guess
I liked that a lot.
I guess it took you a while to do that as well. Like it wasn't a 2-hour gig. It was probably took quite some
Yeah,
time.
well, actually, it took 1 week, I think, but during that week, there were several moments when I almost I almost uh, were kind of quitting the whole thing and started to think that this doesn't make any sense, because many times, at least I have the situations that I try something for hours and hours, and then I realize that there's no bug here. Then you are like, so
Yeah.
it's.
Do you
But yeah.
often go back to like older things that like you were like spending a few hours and didn't find anything, but you were still getting this like weird feeling that it might be something. Do you go back, like take notes and go back, like, oh, I found this thing 2 weeks ago, but then I couldn't find anything. Maybe I should try now. Or do you just like forget about it and move on?
Yeah, this is the legendary to-do.txt file. So basically, I have a bunch of txt files which says that look into this, and then at some point I just happen to use the only editor, which is VI, and then I noticed that I have these notes related to this target, and then I remember that hey, there was something. So sometimes it's I go back to the old targets, and sometimes it's worth it, and sometimes not. But it's the name of the game. So
we also get the question of in the chat about what tools and like word list our guests are using. Is that something you want to share? Like, are you using like the standard word list from Daniel Meisler, like the sec list, or do you have custom lists? And what are your tools? Like, are you using Nmap or AMAS, Nuclei, or what are you using?
well, is that Putsi asking?
No, that's me asking.
No, just kidding. But yeah, it's actually some related to this bug bounty business. One thing which is like the most valuable thing to the hunters is the word list. Basically, everybody has one, and some has better, some has worse, and at least I have a certain word list which I've been compiling for quite a long time, and it's just a combination of all lists, plus each time when there's a vulnerability somewhere I add that to my list. So it's basically I have it in Git, and I do push commits over there. So it's basically that, and you should keep that not too short but not too long, because once you grind the targets, you might want to like move on faster and faster. So
Yeah, but I completely agree with you. Like the word list is often the things like makes you stand out from other researchers that only using the default lists.
yeah, so for example, like I said, I used to work in this identity access management business quite a lot. So from there I was able to snatch basically all the SSO system like hidden URLs and stuff like that. So those have been really useful, for example. So you should do something different, which others don't do. I think that's the thing.
What about your tools?
Well, I
have you written them yourself, or are you using open source tools like from TomNom and people like that?
Yes,
you don't have to be specific if you don't want to share, because I know that is also a secret that many bug bounty researchers want to keep.
Well, I can share, because it's not that I use both. Let's say I have three kinds of tools. I have ready-made tools, for example, this subfinder, which basically enumerates subdomains, for example. I use those tools. I haven't invented myself, and whatever those will output, I put them to I have this pipeline, so I put them in my pipeline to the next task, and I basically use some homemade tools, some ready-made tools, and some ready-made tools which I have been modified to my needs. So I got them all.
Interesting. And of course, you also because you are basically doing the same thing as your working career during the daytime, I guess you also have some even more advanced tool there, and are familiar with building your own tools.
Well, I have to say that this kind of the bug bounty thing is, in my opinion, totally different from the office work what I do. But of course, you can basically, like I said, you can take something from the other and use it in the other. But it's a because in bug bounties you usually do this black box testing that you don't know what you are up against, and at the office you usually do testing in a more open way, sort of speaking. So I basically, you are partly right, but it's not. You get something from the both. So if that answered to your question.
Yeah, it does.
Okay.
Joachim, do you have any follow-up questions?
Is there a particular moment or memory in your career or in your bug bounty career that stands out for you?
I don't. Yes, of course. I got the HackerOne hoodie. Remember that?
Oh yeah. We still have the video that we haven't seen, by the way, for that.
Yeah.
So Tommy promised that he would put the hoodie on and run up the stairs of the church and then do like a Rocky style imitation with the Eye of the Tiger music in the background.
Is that the same stairs as they recorded the Rude Sandstorm?
Yes.
Yeah, that was my weak moment. So
He was so desperate for the hoodie, so
yeah, it actually became an obsession because everybody had the hoodie in the Finnish forum, the guys, and then they started to tease me about it. And of course, this is always a game, so I had to get the hoodie, and now I have to.
That kind of brought me to a question. Are you guys competitive? I feel like you're pretty competitive, and I sometimes, I have to admit, I kind of fuck around with you guys and and uh, and say that okay, someone is better than the other just to get you guys to compete more.
Yeah,
Are you?
well, of course we are, but it's let's say it's sane competition. So it's not that we are like spitting blood.
Friendly competitors.
Yes. So basically, of course, we help each other. Then when someone finds something really cool, everybody else gives an applause and stuff like that. So, and of course, if someone finds something from Visma, for example, and then someone files a dupe, which is a duplicate, then of course you will give your best to him or her because he or she was late.
And of course, don't forget the $1.
Yes,
Yeah.
and that too.
There's so many memes sometimes in you guys' reports. I think you had one report with just memes.
Yeah, well, yeah, we actually this one program, this Finno, is it said Finno? This Norwegian flea store kind of site, commercial site. So
Finno.no, yeah.
yes, there's a guy called Emil who has been really great also, and he he gave me a challenge just saying that I wonder has someone ever reported anything using just memes, and then I told him that hold my beer, and then I did that, and the bug wasn't that great, but I had to use the memes, so it worked.
Yeah.
I even got a small bounty for it, but it was not important. It was all about the challenge.
Yeah, and I guess it was a world first as well. So maybe you're kind of like a Guinness record holder now.
Yes. Just behind the guy who ate the airplane, I'm there with my memory report.
Yes. So how do you stay up to date with all the shit going on? With all the new vulnerabilities, all the new tools and everything? How do you stay up to date?
Well, it's pretty easy nowadays. You just open Twitter, you just read Hacker News, you just subscribe to Reddit NetSec, you just subscribe to these cert lists, which will send you vulnerabilities daily, and then of course you just poke around in the certain forums and blogs and read, learn. That's how you do it. So
Do you have any people in the industry that you look up to, like maybe like a inspiration
You're a
well,
fan.
or a fan?
well, I have to say that during those days when I was poking around the internet and really didn't know what to do, I was guided by this Finnish guy, this Janne Alberg, who is actually also known as Hoax Eye, who is actually spotting all the fake images in the Twitter, and he's doing that nowadays quite a lot. So he was really helpful for me, and he gave me good tips and stuff like that. So that's actually one of the reasons why I'm here, because he helped me. I figured out that someday I will help someone. So I've been helping, trying to help people too. So he's at least one, and of course I have to say Mikko Hyppönen made a big impact on me back in the day when he was showing some virus demos live in Messukeskus, in this mess center in Helsinki. He was actually showing some demos about the really old MS-DOS viruses, and that was pretty cool. And I thought that that guy gets paid for that, so I want to be like that someday. And now he's working in the rival company. So thanks, Mikko.
Maybe one day we'll have Mikko on the stream.
Yeah, that would be great.
Yeah, we'll see about that. I don't know if there's any point in interviewing him because everyone already knows everything about him. So
Yeah,
He always
and,
have a lot of interesting things to tell. So
yeah, that's true.
and
Maybe
I
not
have
as
to
an interview, maybe as a guest or something.
like a story.
Yeah,
Story time with Mikko.
yeah.
I have to actually add that this our community here is pretty awesome, and the scene, at least of course in Finland, the infosec scene is pretty awesome, and people are really great, and I've kind of met new friends from Disobey and from uh, events like that. So that's a big who I look up to also quite a lot. So
I guess we can actually spoil the beans already because we're approaching the end of the stream. But next week we're actually interviewing Benjamin
okay,
from Disobey.
okay,
Yeah.
cool. He's a good guy. He's a fun guy.
The
All my
father
best.
of the Disobey.
Yes.
Do you have a question for him? This is like Pat wanted to do something cheesy. So do you have a
Oh,
No,
question for
like
Benjamin?
like Passover question.
well,
You don't have to.
you should ask about the favorite ice cream, right?
Yeah. What's your favorite ice cream?
There's only one. Well, perhaps two, but only one. That's called Papagallo licorice with crushed Turkish pepper.
Mm. Sounds good.
Really good.
Yeah, so I guess that's ending up of the stream. Did we miss anything? Like, where can people find you if they are interested in getting contact to you? I guess it's on Twitter as the rest of the security community.
Yes, Twitter is good. So I think that's the best place to reach. But I think there must be one viewer or
Yeah, maybe.
Actually 4 at the moment. We were up at 9 viewers before.
ooh, cool,
Massive.
massive.
And at the moment, there is no questions from the chat. So I guess I will leave it to you, Joachim, to wrap up the stream if you have any final questions.
Yeah, I mean, is there anything else that you want to share? Is there anything coming up in your life or professional life or whatever?
Well, not much. I just received, well, where are those? I have to say that I have new toys. I have stuff like this. So this is my next thing. So RFIDs.
Right. That's your next project.
Yes.
So if anyone want to help out with your RFIDs or something like that, they can get in touch with you, I guess.
Yes, I'm already a professional.
Yeah. All right. Thank you so much for being on the stream.
Thank you,
And
Tomi.
yeah.
Thank you. It was nice to get invited and even manage through 1 hour. So
Yeah.
thanks a lot.
Yes,
Wait,
we're
wait,
kind
wait,
of doing
wait.
the
We have
same
a.
as you. We're doing it for the community. So
Yes,
We're just doing
yes,
it for fun. But
yes.
Putsi has a question. What are
What
your
i-
bug bounty goals for the next year?
My goals. Well, I haven't set any, but perhaps, I don't know, some money at least, and one hoodie, the one with velour. I hope there's
What?
Hacker One.
With velour?
Yeah, there's Hacker One hoodie which is like a bit better than these two which I have. So that might be my goal. I
You
have
don't
seen
wanna. You don't want the hoodie from Vispa, then I guess.
it. I want them all hoodies.
Ah, okay. You want all the hoodies.
but this on the fire here. So there is more question coming up here before we end. So what is your current learning? What are you currently learning about, and what subject would you like to learn more about? Well, I guess you kind of showed the RFID. Is there any other areas you are currently reading up about, and what is your backlog?
Well, my backlog is, or my bucket list is huge, but basically I try to like it's related to the stress that if I start to do a lot of stuff, then some stuff will like melt me from the inside. So basically, I'm currently interested in all wireless stuff, including this RFID and of course the SDR related stuff and
Software-defined radio. Yeah.
yeah, and car hacking and stuff like that. So that's pretty interesting because there are a lot of issues in that industry in those devices, if one might say.
Yeah, maybe we should have a stream where we try to hack my Tesla or something.
Why not?
Yeah. Cool. Well, thank you so much for being our guest. It was our pleasure having you on.
And thank you for our viewers.
Yeah,
Yes,
thanks to
thanks.
all the viewers, everyone who stuck with us this 1 hour, and until next time. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.